And I think I got everything here. So good morning. I'm just going to do a quick audio check to make sure that everything is good. And it sounds like the audio is good, so that's excellent. So I figured with the theme today being the Great Refactor, it was time to finally get my stuff, like my new Sony, what was it called, the EV10 camera, in place. So now I've got my nice new camera up and going. I've refactored. I redid the intro and the new screen. Um, so I hope you enjoyed that. It's a little bit different. The webcam didn't require as much light. It had a lot better compensation for low light. The Sony camera is much darker, so I'm looking a little underlit with the new camera. So I may have to look into getting some new lighting. But the Sony camera is pretty nice. So hopefully everything stays. I don't lose focus and all that stuff. So. But welcome. Today, I apologize. I really wanted to do a Tuesday stream. I was not able to do it just because the undertaking that this plan is for today and probably tomorrow is quite detailed. I went through and I made through a whole bunch of notes to try to figure out how to implement all this stuff. So it's going to be um, it's going to be an experience. But the problem is, especially if you've watched my previous streams, we've got ourselves into a lot of tech debt. We've got a lot of spaghetti code that was quickly starting to become other issues, and I kept kicking too many cans down the road. And before we get too much further, it's already starting to bite us with the ability system. So we want to try to fix that and get that stuff resolved as soon as possible. I think with that, let's jump over. Oh, the other thing I fixed, I didn't notice until I actually went back and rewatched the stream. I had an audio issue where my talking head was much louder than the actual working in the Godot. I have fixed that for some reason. In OBS, I had an extra audio input on the talking head screen, so everything should be balanced now. Everything should be clean, and I did all that intro, and I forgot to hit record. So let me hit that right now. There we go. So I can make my later videos. So with that, I have got, let's go back over here to, whoops, I apologize. I had the wrong scene queued up. Here we go. Let's try this again. There we go. I've got the server and the Kanban reloaded with a bunch of stuff in here. I have not gone back through all the previous videos to make sure I have all the same Kanban cards that I had. I pretty much went everything that was already done. I've basically kind of just shoved it off and not worried about it. So I built everything going forward. And then I also went back through and I went back through all the videos and grabbed all the timestamps from everything we worked. So right now we are at 38.9 hours. So basically 39 hours is where we are. So I was pretty close in my guesstimation while I didn't have this tracking server of where we are in this project. So, for where we are, I think that's pretty good compared to our plan. If we come back over here, we were looking to be done this milestone at hour 40. I have done one slight adjustment. I moved the items and the inventory. I kicked those out of this abilities and the items. I didn't remove items from here. Out of this milestone, and I moved them into the next milestone because they're going to factor in when we do the town and we do buying and all that stuff. And basically my idea right now, when we get into that, is items I think are just going to make use of the buff system. So then we can, add in all the buffs and all that stuff. They'll just add attack dice via the buff system or something like that. Not 100% certain if that's how I'm going to do it or not, but that's kind of the idea of my thinking right now. So I'm going to kick that down into here. So after we do our refactor today, we have got, first thing I want to do is a couple easy fixes. Should only take us a few moments. I went through we built nav 2ds because I was thinking A-Star Grid uses nav 2D for some reason. It doesn't. So we're gonna go through and we're gonna pull that out from all the monsters and the players and the dungeon tiles. We don't need that in there. That was causing a lot of those yellow warning errors that we were getting. Was because we had nav 2D and it was trying to build navigable areas um, where we weren't using it and it wasn't lining up perfectly and stuff like that. So we're just going to strip it out because we don't need it. A-Star is totally independent of nav 2D. Um, then we've got, we have a real quick, I have a bug in my animation where the player doesn't go back to the idle after, I think it's after getting hit. I just have to fix a indentation error. And then the other thing I want to need to add a quick AoE attack await command, which will fix a bug that we have when we get into the targeting state machine. That I'm just going to fix it now because I just add the word await and it'll work. But we get into the targeting state machine, that's going to basically get replaced. So it's kind of it'll be nice while we're testing. Let's put it that way. And then the other thing I do want to discuss, because I want to get feedback from you guys. I want to discuss about the different die roll variations for combat, especially for AoE spells. So I want to talk about that. And then after that, what we're going to dive into, and this is going to be the meat of today, is our separation of responsibilities. Because right now we have our combat manager is doing the bulk of the turn management. And our game board's also doing turn management. And then we have a turn manager that's not really doing much. It's just keeping track of the initiative, basically. So we're going to try to reorganize all that stuff. We're going to put all that stuff into the turn manager. We're going to move the turn manager to its own node underneath the game board. And then the game board's going to, again, only be responsible for tracking where things are, a location on the game board. The combat manager's only going to work or deal with combat stuff. And then the turn manager is going to deal with our AP, and it's going to deal with handling end turns and stuff like that. Because if you notice, as we kind of kept kicking things down the road, it was starting to get more and more buggy. And so again, we'll try to head that off before it gets way too far. Yeah, so that's going to be the big thing. We're going to move the turn manager. We're going to update the game board, and strip basically the combat manager. We're going to strip a whole lot of stuff out of. After that, we're going to start implementing breadth. God, I can't say it now. Breadth first search. And so if I come over here, and I just want to bring up this diagram. So basically, because right now we have our monsters and they like to stack on top of each other, we don't want that. We don't want to have 17 monsters all in the same square. We want to make sure there's one square per character. I've done a lot of searching around to figure out how to implement this. I've got something that I kind of worked on my my test build of this game. I made another branch and I just poked around with it to try to see, what we could do with it. And I've got it working. It does still have a few odd bugs that I think when we implement it into the live version, we'll be able to fix those. I hope. But this is basically the idea of the breadth first searching. Is we're going to go through, we're going to implement it basically following this thing. We're going to, the initial node to queue, where are we going to? We're going to look at that. Is that a valid square? If it is, hey, we're all done searching. If not, then we're going to start looking at the surrounding squares and trying to find out, is this one valid? Is this one valid? If it's not, discard it, go to the next one in the queue. And then see, hey, we already checked this one. If yes, then we just discard it. Somehow it ended up in our queue again. And we keep going through until we find the valid square. So that's basically what the breadth first search is. And what we're trying to do is we're looking at the idea is we look at the player square, then we look at all the squares around them, and then we look at the squares around that, and then the squares around that. Because if you do the depth first search, what it'll do is it'll find, this square next to the player is taken, go back a square, and then back a square. And then you end up with the train, because everybody's trying to get to the player square, but they're all trying to go the same path. So then you end up with just everybody stacked up waiting for that one square. So that's why I want to do the breadth first search. Then we try to surround the player and to make sure that, it's more logical of how things would actually work. After that, we're going to try to do the targeting state machine. This is, I'm going to use state machine a little fuzzy like, but it's not the standard state machine, but it's a state machine as in it can only be in one mode at a time, unless what you probably think of when you see the tutorials on YouTube. State machine is, here's the move state, here's the attack state, and goes through and it changes everything out, swaps out the physics code and stuff like that. This is more of a, it can only be in this state. It can only be in this state. So it's a little bit different implementation. And then after that, I think was the buff system. Let me just double check through here my notes. Targeting. Yeah, after that was the creating the buff system. And I have this in my current build of Dungeon Fodder, the original Dungeon Fodder with the real-time strategy game. That one was built at the time. I thought what I was doing was vibe coding. I didn't understand what vibe coding actually was at the time, because I was programming and go, hey, how do I implement this? And then, ask at the time, I think that one was ChatGPT. I don't remember which AI I was interacting with, but it's like, well, this is how you would implement that. Here's some sample code. And I would take that and put it in and, tweak it to how I wanted it to be. Now my understanding is vibe coding is just basically you don't touch the code at all. You just say, hey, I want you to do this. Hey, that's not right. Fix it. And you don't actually touch code at all. So I always say that Dungeon Fodder was vibe coded, but apparently I was using that term completely wrong. It was, what do they call that? Agentic engineering or whatever, when you get assistance from AI. So I don't know how well that's going to work, because again, if you've ever used AI for coding, it's really good at creating a really quick script, but for trying to get it to produce something that's usable and future proof is very, very hard. It's really good at making a quick, here you go, off you go. It did exactly what you asked, and we're moving on. But then in 2 months down the road, you want to say expand or revise something about that, and you go back and it's like, well, no, you don't do that. We'll strip it all out and we'll just rebuild everything from scratch. It's like, it's not very good use of the technology. So I like to tell people, I think AI's perfect use is it replaced Stack Overflow, because if you've ever used that website, I think it's absolute trash. Every now and then you can find a good answer, but a lot of the time it was just frustration searching, trying to get an answer for your programming stuff. So, but that's the plan. The buff system should be pretty straightforward and pretty easy. I don't think we're going to have time for it today. I think with everything I'm going to do, I think we're going to be able to get through our quick, easy fixes here in the next few minutes, and then we'll get through the separation of responsibilities. I think we're probably going to get hung up in our breadth first search implementation. I have a feeling that that's where we're going to get hung up, because that's not a simple thing to implement. So that's going to be my gut. If we get through that, if the code that I used already works, that's cool. But like I said, that's my inclination, is that's going to run into a problem. And then after that, we're going to do the targeting stuff, the targeting state machine. That's going to basically help with our abilities and all that stuff, so that we can make sure we validate tiles, make sure that we're not targeting things that are off the board. And that's going to give us also our abilities, because right now, if you do like move, there's no way to cancel out of it. If you target, click fireball, there's no way to cancel out of it. So that targeting system is going to give us that ability to start canceling our actions. And then we'll go back through and do all that type of stuff. 100 hours. And again, sounds like a long time. When you really dive into it, not so much. But okay. So with that, let's make sure. Okay, we have Dungeon Fire tiles. Okay. Let's see. Let's start with. We're gonna do our easy fixes. So I'm just gonna run a general. What we're gonna work on here. We're gonna do easy fixes. We're gonna do separation. Separation. I told them it's about separation. See, we're starting off the day great. And BFS. Okay, and then we'll start that and Dungeon Fire tiles. Okay, we're on. Excuse me, and we're on the clock. Okay, so let's get back over into Godot. Let's get Dungeon Fire tiles queued up here. Okay, and I think this should still be good for you guys to view because I think I'm still at 125%. Yeah, I am 125%. Okay. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is I want to go through and here we go, Dungeon Tile Map. We don't need the navigation stuff. So we're going to take out the nav layer. We'll save that. And then we'll come back over here. We'll take out our nav agent because we don't need that. Don't need the nav agents. And that should be all of our stuff. So if we save that, oops, we'll go through. Now, you know what? I can just run the game board and I'll save everything. So now, we got to remove. The A star does not use anything related to the nav agent. So that alone is going to clean up a lot of our stuff. So let's see here. We got our debugger. So right now, yeah, so we got a bunch of awaits from last time and all that stuff, but it got rid of all of our nav agent errors that we had last time. Okay, so we remove that. We need to fix in the combat manager, we have an await problem. Combat manager. Okay, so animation. I think it was under. Let me see here. Hold on. It is under. Oh, died. I think it's this one. I think that's, yeah. I think that's the one. Let me see. Where did I put my notes? Fix outdent for. Yeah, the die animation. So basically, what was happening with this is if the animation finished before it got to checking it, because we're going through each animation. Remember in AoE, we queued up a bunch of them. If one of them was shorter than the others, or just they all happened to finish, but when we loop through the check, because this was indented, it was never playing the idle animation after they got hit. So we can save that. That should fix that. And then we also need a there's a start targeting AoE, which I think is in the game board. Start START targeting. Start targeting. What do I call this? Start ability targeting. Okay, so here's the connect. Nope. And where did we call this? There's another place I think where we called this that I would need to add. Oh no, it's in here. It's I think it's this one. I think we have to await. Yeah, there we go. I think it's this one. Await. AWAIT. Okay. So if we await that, then it should allow us to do it. So let's go ahead and try. So let's see. Let's see if we can get some orcs to show up here and turn. There we go. We'll just move them up here. Okay, fireball. So what was happening before is when we cast fireball, it would still be executing the ability, and then the monsters would start acting. So we want to make sure that that's No targets in it. Oh, did we fix Fireball? Is Fireball still set to target allies? It is. Okay. There we go. So now I'll go through all of these. Okay. Now it waits and then it goes to the next turn. So before, what was happening, if you, we'll just do it one more time here. What was happening was, whoops, that's the wizard. I don't want to run the wizard scene. So what was happening before is let's see here, move. And of course, now I'm just not going to get, yeah, see, this is what that turn managers are going to also do, because you saw here, we did end turn, but the move was still active. And so then it caused some problems there. So when we get into that targeting mode, that's going to help fix that stuff. Yeah, here we go. Nope. Okay. Anyway, what was happening was, while the dice were rolling and the AoE resolution was happening, it would go from like the wizard to the rogue's turn. So adding that to wait fix that. Okay. And so the last thing I want to do here, and what I'm calling the easy fixes, is I want to talk about the different ways we can implement the dice rolling. Right now, you saw when we did it, we have one attack roll, and then each one of the targets rolls their dice individually. That works. It's functional. It's right now, it's better than what we had originally, where we did an attack roll defense, attack roll defense, and if we had all 12 squares or whatever it would have been, that's a lot of waiting to do. Right now, it's a lot less because it's only one attack roll and individual dice rolls. So that's the sequential resolution, as I'm going to call it for right now. The other options I could do, and this one's kind of an easy lift, is maybe we just show the attack roll and don't show the defense rolls at all. We just calculate them behind the scenes. We figure out what's going to happen, do the attack roll, play the animation, and then just see what happens. The other thing I probably need to do, especially for these abilities, start adding in health bars. Originally, I was going to have health bars just on panels. I don't know if I want them over the players. Our characters are only 8x8 pixels, so it's real estate, screen real estate. It's when we start adding things like that, we start blocking things, especially when it's only 8 pixels big to start with. So I'm kind of hesitant to do that. The other thing we could do is we can use and I like this idea. I don't know how well I'm going to be able to implement it. This is going to be more in the UI section. Is taking and having all the defenders roll their dice at the same time, but show the dice rolls above each of their heads, so it's associated with the character. So then you can see, all the rolls happen at once, and then we apply the results, play the animation. I like the idea. Again, I'm a little hesitant because we're limited on screen space, especially. Okay, this says I dropped out. Hopefully. Okay, it said I dropped out. I don't see a drop in the stream, so hopefully that's the case. If there's an interruption, it'd be very brief. But back to what I was saying before, the dropping their limited screen space. So if I start adding dice above the heads, especially when they're only 8x8 pixels, either the dice need to be really tiny, or we need to have a good scaling UI that will scale the UI images down, because right now they're just a little blip. Okay, great. So I need to change my ISP because my current provider doesn't provide enough upstream bandwidth for streaming. So got to get around to doing that. Got to move up the fiber. I think we could do it with the UI scaling is what I'm trying to say. Basically, we can use a texture. What do they call that? What's the 2D control texture? just texture rec. Yeah, texture rec. We can use just like texture recs, and we can do the animation with those and put the dice above the heads, and it will scale with the UI. So I think we might be able to do something like that. I think it would look cool. I think it would work better if we didn't have the zoom in and zoom out. It would probably also be better if we had a higher resolution game. So again, I'm just I want to put that out there. I want to see what you guys think. You know, which way might be better. Again, right now I have one attack roll, and then we go through each individual defense roll and then apply it. There's no pause right now. It's defense roll, defense roll, defense roll, defense roll. You know, as soon as it ends, there's no pause to see what the results were. So I'm thinking that maybe we want to go the other route of we roll the attack and then just do all the defense stuff behind the scenes and then just show the resolution. My only concern with that is if we go back to the monsters, if they get spells and then start using that against the players, just suddenly seeing the resolution. I don't know if players will like that or not. So, just let me know, which way do you think we should go? Keep it as is, or, one of the other two methods. So, but yeah, I just wanted to have that discussion. Okay. So the next thing, I'm going to take a quick sip of coffee here. I got to remember to drink more so I don't ruin my voice and I can do 2 days without killing myself. So the next step is we're going to work on our separation. We're going to start pulling things out of the turn manager is going to become its own thing. We're going to pull all that code out of game board. We're going to pull the code out of combat manager. We're going to put that into its own little self-contained thing. This is going to factor back into, we have all these here for, hey, look, you have start turn and all that stuff, but you're not using it. We're going to work on that and try to get that implemented here. So okay. Yep. Yeah, I had another note that was like prepare for UI, but I don't want to do that yet. I want to do all the refactor before I move on to making sure that I'm prompting the UI to show things properly. Yeah. Okay, so let's start with closing all of this stuff. We don't need all of that. Okay. We will need the term. Let's go ahead and close all other tabs. Here we go. Okay, so we're just going to start with a turn manager. So right now we've got all these. We've got the signal turn started, turn ended, actor added, actor removed. Okay, so let's see here. We need another signal because we have turn ended. I want to put a signal right here. Signal, and we want to say turn. We're going to call it ending because, there's that cleanup phase at the end, like where the player explores and gets to select the tile and stuff like that. So the turn's done, but it's not ended yet. So we kind of want to have that little extra little bit in there. So, oops. Okay. So we want to add in the turn ending. Excuse me. Okay. And then let's see here. We've got add actor, determine starting actor, all this stuff. I'm just going to clean up my code because I only want one space here. Okay, show turn order. That's going to be useful for the UI. That's the action points. Use the action point, get action points. Okay. Those will be very useful. Okay, so let's add in a new function here. We're going to start with start game. Okay. And in start game, this is just going to be a void because it's just going to call at the beginning. And then we're going to call in our determined starting actor. And then we're going to say if current turn node. Then we're going to say start underscore turn. Wow. And then we're going to call it the current. Wait, I did that lowercase. Current turn node dot actor. Okay. Right. Is it start turn? Oh, we haven't written that yet. That's right. I got ahead of myself. So next we want to do function start turn. Okay. So what we want to do here is we're going to start the turn. What we need to do with the turn, we need to reset the action points, and then we need to tell the other systems that, hey, this actor has started. So we're going to start the turn. We need a actor to be passed in. Okay. That is going to be. Do we want to change all of these? Because I have these all as nodes. I feel like we should change those to actor, but I don't know if I really want to. We'll just leave them as nodes for right now. Because I have a feeling I'm probably going to... This is the first time I've used linked list. So I have a feeling I'm probably going to reuse this code in the future. So I'm just going to leave those as nodes for right now. Okay. And then... Let's see. So we're going to start the turn. I don't think we need to return anything because we're not going to do it. Yeah, they successfully started the turn. But let's use set actor action points. And then we can set in... How did we store these again? I think... So we need to pass in, let's see, set actor. Okay. And then I think we did we have a max action points? What did we have in our actor? Actor. ACTOR. Okay. Did we do move points? Max action points. There we go. We did have one. Okay. So let's add in the max action points there. Okay. So then that will reset us to our full action points. And then after that, what we need to do is we need to do that start turn. Was it start turn? What do we call it? Turn started. Turn started.emit. Oops. Emit. And then we're just going to send the actor. Okay. And that should be all we need for our start turn. Turn started emit. Okay. So with that, we also need a... let's do a function. Let's do the advanced turn. How do we go to the next turn? Advanced turn. And in here, we're just going to call because we're going to just move down our list. So we're going to say if current node, turn node, equals null return. Okay. Because we don't want to... we don't want to try to advance a turn if there's no viable actor turn node in our linked lists to move to. So this could happen like, if all the players die or everything in our list is dead. So let's see. Do we need to do this? Yeah, let's do this. Let's do old actor. Or let's do... I don't want... yeah, let's do old and new. Old and new sounds good. So let's say our old actor equals the current turn node dot actor. Okay. And then we can call a... we don't really need to set that, do we? No. We can just do turn ended dot emit. And then we can just emit the current one. So we're going to say, hey, the turn's ended. Emit the current turn node. And then we're going to advance the current turn node is going to equal the current turn node dot next actor. Okay. And then we can run start turn, TURN, on the current turn node. Oh, wait, it needs to be actor. Current turn node dot actor. There we go. So the turn ended emits, and then we'll do a current turn node is our next actor, and then we'll signal the start turn. Or we'll call the start turn, which then resets the action points, and we send turn started signal. Okay. Let's see, what else do we need? We also need, because this is a turn manager, we also need to know when our abilities, our actions the action points are being used. So let's do action completed. Yeah, that'll work. Action completed. Okay. And then we need the actor. We're always going to need the actor. But I don't think we don't care about what the ability is. No, we don't care. Because that's already going to take care of the action points. It's already going to take care of all that stuff. So we don't need to worry about that. So then we just need to check the action points. Just make sure. If action points, no, we need to actor action points, ACT, action, what is it? Action, actor, what do we call it? Is it AP or do we just call it action points? Oh, right. We did it on the turn node, didn't we? Turn node. Yeah, we did the action points in the turn node. Okay. So if actor dot turn action, nope, dot turn. Did we call it turn node? How did we do it? How do we want to do this? Because we're passing in the actor, but we didn't pass in a reference to the turn node, do we? Because we add the turn node, I think, in the setup. I thought we did. Maybe not. Ready. Nope. Where do we add the turn? Oh, we did it in the combat manager when we added in the actor. Okay. Do we have a... You know what? Let's do it this way. Let's do a function here. Get action points. We'll just put it on the actor itself, because then what we can do is we can just use like a getter setter type stuff on this. So let's do get action points, and then I don't think we need to send anything else, but that's going to return back an integer, and then for right now we're just going to return 0. I'll come back and write that one afterwards. Yeah, I think that'll work. So then if we just call this from return manager, actor dot get action points, okay, function, and if it's less than or equal to 0, oops, I don't need 0 in there twice, then we can just call our, do we, I think we just call it advanced turn? No, we want to call, because again, like I said, we want to do that turn ending. So what we need to do, what do we need to do that? I think we're going to need another function. Yeah, we're going to need another function that's going to basically do the end turn cleanup. So let's do request end turn. Yeah, let's do a request end turn. And I don't know if I need to, we need to probably send the actor. Okay. So then we can just copy this and create this as a new function. Actor is a node. Okay. I don't think we need anything here. So on the end turn, let's just check the current turn node. If there is a current turn node and the actor equals the current turn node actor. Okay. And then we can do a request. No, not request end turn. Turn ending dot emit. And then do we need to do... Yeah, we'll keep passing along this actor. I don't know if we're going to need it or not, but let's keep passing along the actor. So then whatever pulls from it, we have the actor reference. Okay, so we've got... So if it's all done, we request the end turn, and we double check. We say if the current turn node exists and the actor equals, and the actor that was passed in is the current turn node actor, then we can call or signal the turn ending emit. Do we need anything else in here? I don't think we do. We start the game. We have started our turn. We go to the next turn. We have, if our action's completed, we check our action points, and if they're all gone, then we go to the request end turn, so then we can emit for the cleanup. Yeah, I think that is all we're going to need in here for the turn manager. It's going to be pretty straightforward. I'm probably going to come back in and move in the... I don't know. I'm debating here if where I want to put in the use action points, because this is our reset. We already have it. We already have it in here. Okay. Forgetting what I had already written. Use action points. Okay. Okay, so that looks good. Now, this is where we're going to start breaking things. I'm going to take it because right now our turn manager is part of our combat manager. I'm going to move this outside of the combat manager, and it's going to become part of the game board. I'm just going to bring this back up to the top here. Okay. So this is going to be totally unique. This just broke like every reference. So this is going to be fun. So right now, by doing this, our game is broken. Okay, so let's start cleaning up. Let's start with the game board. We'll close this out. Close this out for right now. Okay, so let's see here. On the game board, we need a reference to the turn manager. So turn manager, put that here. Okay, so we have a turn manager. What we're going to be able to do though with that is then we're going to be able to replace anytime we call like combat manager.turn manager, we can just call turn manager. We also need to have some, well, those are signals. I don't want that. We need to connect to the turn manager signals. So that we'll probably want to do that in the ready. Attack button pressed. We'll want to do it before this. We'll set up our characters. Yeah, let's set up all of our characters first. Combat manager setup player list. Okay. Don't know if I want to do these. I'm going to put these down here because I want to put these. Whoops. I'm going to put these down here, and then here we want to do a turn manager that we want to do the turn, what we call it again, turn started .connect. Okay, and then when we start our turn, we were going to put this into, I think we already have a, yeah, update active. Okay, and that requires the actor, which we are passing. Okay, so let's go back up here. We're going to put this into update active. Okay, did we have this? Okay, yeah, see, here we go. Combat manager, we had new turn connect, so we can get rid of that. What else do we need? Do we want to do that? I'm gonna just comment that out for right now because I'm starting to second guess myself because we'll see. Don't want to make too many changes at once because you're gonna run into a lot of problems. But here we go. Okay, so we've got that. We've got turn manager started. We need turn manager dot turn ended dot connect. Do we want ending? We want ending, not ended. Ending, because we want to be able to call those tiles. So we want to do on. We're gonna make a new function, I think. Do we already have an on turn ending? We don't. Let's make a new one. On turn ending. Oops. Okay. So we're gonna make a new function for this. And basically it's going to replace our where is it here? I think we have an advanced turn or something like that down here. Advanced turn. Yeah, we're basically going to replace this one. So let's go here. Let's just define our function on turn ending. This is going to pass in the actor, which is a node. And I'm just going to put it in pass for right now. We'll come back to that one. Okay. Let's see. What else do we need? Do we need the turn ended? I don't think we do, because that's only going to be relevant to certain things. Let's see. Where else are we? Here, signals. Where are we? Here we go. Here's that stuff. Okay. Okay. So we got turn started. Actually, I'm second guessing this, but we'll come back to it. Okay, so let's look at right now. Let's look at our end turn. So right now we call combat manager next turn, and then look, we got all this fun stuff in here. So all we need to do now instead is we just need to call turn manager, and we wrote a the next turn, which was advanced. No, we want to do not the advanced, but what we call that? Shoot. Request end turn. That's what we want. Okay. So next turn, we're going to do request end turn, and that only requires an actor. And so we've got all this. We don't need all of that. We can just pass in. Actually, we already have like current actor defined, don't we? Why don't we just pass in the current actor? Because when we do update, where's update active here, we change the current actor in the game board to match the whoever is the current turn manager. Current actor, yeah. So when we pass it, we're passing it from the turn manager into this. Okay. So then on end turn, we request the end turn from the turn manager, who will then do the cleanup, signal the turn ending, which we'll call the on turn ending. And then here we can basically kick off the code we need from here. So let's take a look here. So let's just make sure. Let's do if actor is in, what is it? Actor, oh no, it's dot is in group players. Okay. And then what we need to do, if it's in players, then we need to do the action panel dot visible. We're going to hide it equals false. We're going to hide the action because players turns over. And then what we need to do is we need to call the show possibles, so then we can select our tile. And what else did we do here? Show possibles. We can do this, I believe, right here. Oops. Boom, boom. So then if we call the horizontal explorers, we wait the tile selected, and then we don't want to return true. Now we want to do a turn manager dot, is it advanced turn? What we want to do here? Yeah, advanced turn, because this is going to be, if I remember right, advanced turn. So when we do the request turn, we send the turn ending, which triggers the tiles to show up which ones we can go to. Advanced turn actually does the turn ended and moves to the next character. Okay. Yes. Okay. So that's what we want there. So that will do that. We don't need advanced turn anymore. So we can just get rid of that. I don't think we had anything linked to advanced turn up above. Update active. No, I don't see anything here. We probably did in Combat Manager, but we'll get back to that in a second. I'm just going to focus on game board right now. So that should clean up the turn ending. And actor move. What do we do here? We want to do do we want to do anything with this? We're calling combat manager actor move. No, because we want to make sure we use. Let's try to keep all of our logic in here. So if current actor dot no, not current actor. What am I thinking? We're checking for action points. If turn manager dot actor, no, not actor, dot use action point, and then we're going to call in the current actor, and then we're going to send in 1 because movement should only take 1. Okay. And then what we can do is we can call the current actor dot activate, which is activate, which then starts the movement process. So we shouldn't need this. Let's bring up our combat manager just to double check my logic here. Actor move. Yeah, because that's all we're doing here is doing this. So we just pulled that out and put that right here on the game board. Okay. Yeah, so we don't need that. Okay. So then we have the actor move. Okay, so that works. Action done. I don't think we're going to need this anymore because that's going to be handled by the turn manager. I don't know what's calling this. Let's find what's calling that. Control C. Nothing is calling that, at least from this function. Is anything calling it here? Is this just a orphan function? I think this might just be an orphan function. Let's just comment it out for right now. Let's see what else we need to do. We're definitely gonna need to mess with this. So this, let's just, you know what? Let's do a Control C, Control Shift F, and then we're gonna find, replace all of that with current actor. Okay. There we go. Okay. So now current actors and group players. Okay, so then we don't have to keep calling the combat manager and calling it that deep. Oh my god. Like I knew I was doing bad when I was writing this stuff and I was getting way too sloppy with my code, but man, I didn't realize it was as bad as it was. Okay, so we got that. So we replaced all of that. So we got current actor is in monsters. We did all that replacement here. So let's see here. Do we need something else? I feel like we need something else here. Oh, we need to accommodate our action points so we don't keep infinitely attacking. So how about if we do if turn manager dot use action point. We want to send in the actor or not current actor, and then standard attack is 1 point. Okay. So if we call that in, wait, we want to do this. What do we return on this one? Use action point. Use action point. We return a bool. Okay, so this, okay, so we can just call it this way. Now we can print an error for right now. Not enough AP. Okay. So then, and then we can return. So this one will stop us from constantly attacking because now it's going to try to spend an action point. Um, do I want it? I don't know if I want it there. Because right now, this... Yeah, because we're subtracting the value here. We should probably check first. Do we have a get action points? We do. We have a get action points. Here we go. So if we call the get action points here, yeah, so let's check the action points first, and then we can do the targeting, and then we can cause it to be spent. Okay, so let's change this from use to get action point, and we pass in the same thing, right? Oh, we just pass in the actor. So that, oh, do we, and we return a value though, right? Yes, we return an int. So if the get action point is less than 1, then we can just say there's not enough AP to attack. Okay. What I'm going to do though, I'm going to just do this because that was fine. Okay. And then we can use that here. We do all the target selection. And then at the end, this is where we want to put in using the action point. This should never return false because here we're checking it, then we're executing, and then we're we're subtracting. So that should never return false, but you never know. Okay, so actor attack, we subtract the action point. Then we do our select target. Again, all this stuff when we get into our targeting state machine is going to be replaced. But let me think here. We do... What else do we have to do here? We do our select target. We can just change all of this, I think. My notes aren't adding up here. Oh, because we're going here. Target selected. I just jumped functions by accident. Okay, here we go. Okay, so if it's in monsters, actor target enable no target mode. What am I doing here? If the current actor is in monsters, for actor and get tree, get nodes, enable target mode, no. If the current actor is in players, for actor and get tree nodes, monsters, target, enable target mode, null. I don't know what I was thinking here. Well, either way, this works. So, where are we calling attack? Oh, because we're calling the attack in the target selected. Okay, so here we go. Target selected. Okay, so let's go down here. Here we go. Okay, so let's move. Where did I just put here? Right here. Let's take this. Let's cut this out. Okay, because then we're going to pass down to our target selected. Here's our target selected. And then we have right here, this is where we are subtracting the points. So let's put that in here. Okay. Okay, so we target, we go for actor and tree monsters, disable targeting mode. We go through all this. This is connected. We disconnect that stuff. If current actor is in group players, we do this action panels visible. Do we need that? Because we're going to do... No, in our turn manager, we're not disabling the action panel unless it's the end of the turn. Okay, so that we need to stay there. Okay, and then we're going to await the combat manager attack. We're sending in our target actor. And then what we want to say, we're going to await this. Do I want to put this here? Not enough AP. If not, if we're in players, okay, we don't need to check this, okay, because we have that in a turn manager. So here we need to call turn manager dot action, what do we call it? Action completed. And we're going to send in the current actor. Okay. And then that is action completed. What do we call that here? Action completed. This was just a void. Okay, so we don't need to do anything else here. Okay. Do we need the... No. We can leave this as true because this will actually, let's put this right here. We'll put this as true. So we'll turn on the panel. We'll call the action completed. If they're out of AP, then the action completed will call the thing to turn off the action panel visible. Because if we put it after this, we do have a possible race condition where this will make it visible and the other one will try to make it invisible. And if they get desynchronized, then we may very well have an action panel up when we don't want one. So we'll turn it on first, then call the check. Okay, that should be good. Okay, so I think that works. Okay. Okay, actor remove. I think this is all good. I don't think we need to do... let's see here. Do I have it? I do have some notes in here. Oh, well, that's not right. Current actor equals current actor. Yeah, we don't need this. We need to do the... Yeah, okay. So this is not going to work. Let's think through this. So actor remove, we need to wait for the combat manager unregister actor, current actor. And so instead of this, we do want to call... I think this one we want to use the turn manager though. Turn manager dot current turn node dot actor. Okay. Because we want to unregister that. And then we need to update our current actor to equal the new... Oh, we don't... Do we even need this? I'm going to put it in here, but I don't know if we need this. Because when we update... No, we will, because this is the combat manager unregistering, and then this is us game board updating its... Let me see here. I think this is right. Because we're going to wait for the unregister to happen. and we're going to wait for that to get removed, and then we're going to update our current turn. That seems right. Yeah. Oh, yeah. We don't need to worry about this. I'm really starting to second guess myself, and maybe I want to move all the registering into the turn manager. I don't know. I think we might, but I'll come back to it. Board loss, we don't need to worry about that. Action panel, we don't need to change the function here. No, I'm gonna collapse all this stuff just because I can. I know. No real reason to do it when we have these shortcuts over here, but I just kind of I like it, so then I can come down through here and do like this and just kind of clean stuff up and make it look all pretty and functional. Okay. Let's see. Start our ability targeting. Oh, this is gonna be a mess. Okay. Let's see here. Combat manager, turn manager, current turn node, action points. Okay. So that we can probably just change to. We can probably just change this to our current actor dot get. Yeah. So we can get rid of all this. We can do current actor dot get action points. Okay. And then if they're less than the ability cost, we can't do it. And then here we can do print action points. Do I want to do it that way? I mean, this is just for troubleshooting, so we can just use this again. Okay. Why did we do this twice? Right? Yeah, that's the same thing. Okay. Why? Not remembering these troubleshooting sessions now. Okay. So we're using the ability name, target type. We're using current actor and ability. Do I need to change anything here? I don't. Are we even using this? We're not using target cell. There's no reason to have this here. I think that was one of our errors that we had earlier. Okay. So we're not using our target cell. Why do we need that? So then we have if current actor. No, let's use. Again, we're using our turn manager. So let's use our turn manager. Right. If we want to use turn manager dot get action points, and then we need to send in the current actor. Do we want to do it that way, or do I want to just keep using it like it was? It feels a little. What's the word I'm looking for? Now, again, we want to come back. We're going to try to keep the turn manager the one that's responsible for the action points. So let's keep it this way. I'm going to have to rework what I did in the turn manager, but we'll come back to it. Okay. Let's see. What else do I need to do here? So we got that. Not enough. Get the action points. Yep. Targeting. Okay. Do we need to change anything else in here? I don't think so. At least not in this area. So we definitely didn't need that vector 2i. Okay, so we got rid of that. We have Yeah, I'm gonna change these other ones just so that we're being consistent. Do we have any other places where we're calling that? Turn manager, get action points, current actor. Oh, that's fine. Yeah, so this is fine. We're just going to keep the action point stuff in the term manager. I'm trying to undo spaghetti code, and I'm starting to second guess myself here. Yeah. Okay. Let's see, what else do we have in here? I think we have a. Okay, so hold on. So we start the ability targeting. We go through all this. This is all fine. Add the overlay. Again, all this stuff will be replaced with the targeting stuff, but here we go. Current actors and group players. Combat turn manager, current node, action points. Okay, so let's do this again. Our ability is going to use its own action points, so we don't have to account for the ability points being deducted here, but we do want. Do we want this even at all? What did we do up here on attack? Let's look at actor attack. We did, if it's less than one, not enough. No, it wasn't attack. It was ability target. No, target selected. Here we go. We say this. Action completed. Okay, so let's use this again. Come down here. Where were we? Start the ability targeting. Here we go. So if we put this in here instead, if we're in players, show the action panel, turn manager, action completed, that will check for our AP. Okay, so I think that is all we need, right? This stuff we don't need anymore. Let's go ahead and clean that up. Okay, so that should fix that. Why did that? Oh, it was this one. This is what we're working on. Okay. So that should fix that. Okay. Do we need... If ability equals null, print actor name. What were we doing here? If ability is null, ability target selected. Why would we be targeting with no ability? I don't remember why I did this. That is a good question. Why did I do that? Oh, well, we don't need this anymore. Don't need that. We don't really need this. Let's just put this in here. Target select. So this is after we've done all that. Okay, we do players in group. So we do this. Where is it? Here we go. We take this. We execute it. Oops. Wrong button. Okay, so we await the ability to execute. We call the actor the combat manager. Right, so that's... Oh, we also need to... Right, target selected. Just trying to think through this here. So we need to... No. No. We need to actually cut this out. We also need to do if... where's our use action points? Where would we do that? Up here. Ability target? No, target selected. Here we go. If, here we go. Turn manager. Oops. Let's put this right here. So if the turn manager use action point, current actor, and then we need to use the ability dot, what do they call it? AP cost. There we go. Okay. So we've selected it. We need to spend the action points. If we don't have enough action points, we'll kick back. That should already be accounted for in the start ability targeting. Yeah, right here. We already have it right there. Okay. So then here we spend it. I didn't put a spend in here, did I? Await AoE targeted selected. Targets and ability. This is AoE target selected. AoE target selected. Okay, so that's another. Okay, we'll get. Oh, it's right here. AoE target selected. Okay, so we'll come back to that one in a second. So we're gonna await the ability. So we double check. We spend the point, or whatever the cost is. We await the execute of it. Ability execute. We send in the actor and the combat manager. And then we say if they're in group players, we send the player panel visible true. And then we say the action is completed, which will then check to see if that's the end of the turn. Okay, I think that's all we need for this. That's going to be pretty simple. Do we need the... Wait a minute. That. Yeah. We want the outdent there. Because we want to make sure we can use it also for monsters. Because if we do the other way, it will only be players that will do the action completed. Okay, so that should be fine. Actor, okay, yeah, that's that should be good. Okay, let's move down to AoE target selected. Okay, if actors is empty, that's all fine. This is where we spend it. So this is where we need our this. We're going to just grab that. And we're going to put that right in here. Okay. So then that will spend the action points that we need for the ability. Okay. Await the ability. We attack the actors, combat manager. We should probably add that into our ability. Ability. Execute. We're going to add in one more. Let's bring up Fireball. And we'll just steal this. We'll come back down to our ability. We'll put that there. And then we'll do... Okay. So that'll be our virtual interface. So then we always have this. So we don't run the risk of messing up over where were we? Game board. Here we go. So if we're awaiting this, we need to make sure that that always exists in the ability in case somehow we end up in AoE when we're not supposed to. Okay. So await the ability, print error. I should be waiting. Okay, this was the what I was trying to troubleshoot earlier, where I had the await in the wrong spot. What else do we need? Do I need anything else here? Target selected. Basically, I just need the exact same thing as this. It's just calling a different function. It's calling execute versus attack actors. So then I can just use this. We'll just put this in here. Boom. All right. Because then the attack actors is going to loop through that entire list. Yeah. And I think that should be it. Just clean this up just a little bit. Just make it look a little nicer. Okay. So I think that's it. We show the panel and then we say the action is completed. Okay, so I think that does everything we need to do for the game board. I think that cleans up the game board. And now comes the combat manager. Okay, so let's go back up here to the top. Let's start. We don't need the new turn anymore because that's going to be all handled by a turn manager. We still want that. We still probably want this. We don't need the turn manager because turn manager doesn't exist as a subchild anymore. So let's see here. So we set up. We don't need this anymore. Wait a minute. We're going to still need the turn manager. Yeah. But we're going to use a different reference because now it's going to be a global object. Okay. And then we're going to get rid of this and determine starting actor is going to become start game. Right? Start game? Yeah, start game. We don't need that. Okay. So we're going to go through all of our actors. We're going to call the start game function in our turn manager, which is right. Oops. Start game. We determine the starting actor here. And then whoever's our first character to act, we hit the start turn on. Okay. Great. So that takes care of that. We don't need next turn because we're not going to deal with that in here. So we can just get rid of next turn. Okay. So we don't need that. I don't think we need check action points either because we're checking that via turn manager. Register actor, we still want to do. I'm going to. I feel like we should move this into turn manager, the register actor. Because we're not tracking anything here in combat. So the registering the actor should, I mean, we're already calling turn manager. So I think we need to move that. Let's see here. Oh. So we connect into our signals. We're going to action complete, connect, and then let's call it, let's do one of these. Let's make a new function here. We're going to call it on actor action completed. So then when it's done, what's it called? Like attacking, we can just call this. Okay, so if we call that here, we're going to put it right next to our other one on action completed, and that's going to, be our actor again. Okay, and then let's see. This is not going to return anything. So then we can just call turn manager dot action completed actor. Okay. So then when it's done, we just update the turn manager saying our action's been completed. Oh, we're calling turn complete. Yeah. Okay. We'll come back to this stuff here. We don't need this anymore. We're gonna replace this with our turn manager, and then we're gonna call request end turn, and then we're gonna send in the actor. Okay. So on the turn completed, I get on yeah. See, this thing was a mess because this was our turn manager before, and it's a royal mess. So we're gonna probably have to take this, rip it all out, because all we're doing here is we're just calling turn manager to do all these functions. We have one function to call another function. Yeah, I think let me just work through my notes here, and then do what I was thinking. Okay. Turn completed, that's fine. And then on the unregister actor, we remove the actor and then disconnect the signals. Instead of this one, we're going to use action complete. We're going to just update that with our new variable. That. Okay. We don't need that. Okay. Let's. Oh my God. Okay. I'm feeling very nervous on this because I think I'm at the point I'm ready to test it. I really want to come back here and redo this, strip out a lot of this stuff from the combat manager, but let's just make sure it works first. I don't want to get too far. I'm already 45 minutes into this, and an hour and 12. Okay. Hey, we have an error. Okay. Identify current actor is not declared. Oh, this is in Dice Resolver. Okay, so here. Did we accidentally replace this? I don't think we did we? I may have did a search and replace in too many things. So let's see. We want to use our turn manager. Oh wait, we don't have a turn manager. We can call combat manager dot turn manager dot current turn node dot actor. Oh boy. Oops, wrong button. Okay. Okay, they're not activating because we don't know who our current player is. I mean, we can tell here it's nobody. Okay, so let's go back to our turn manager. What did we do? So we're calling start game. We need to determine the starting actor. Here we go. I bet you. Go game board. Actors. Oh, that's not what I wanted. Tile stack. Here we go. Player list. Okay, we do have 4 players. Okay. Our turn manager. Current turn node is the rogue. Okay, so we do have it. And it is populated. Why did we not activate the rogue then? Under current, determine starting actor. Highest node for actor and actor listing. Highest node equals node. Do we have in here actor listing? Yep, we got that. Okay, so that's fine. But when we ran this determine, was it empty? Let's put an error here. Print error. List actor listing is empty. Okay. Okay, so let's stop our current execution. Let's clear this up and let's run it one more time. Okay, let's take a look here. Game manager is ready. We've got all the players, but we did not activate anyone. Did we? Oh, wait. Did we send a? So the game board. Do we have a current actor? We do not. Okay, so the current actor is not active. Okay, so we did not send the update. Okay, so let's see here. So we determine start an actor. We need current node highest. Okay, so let's go back to turn manager. We did determine start an actor. Start game. Start turn. Okay, so that should go here. Turn started emit actor. Game board. Okay, so when we're ready, we set up all this stuff. We did all this stuff. Combat manager. We set up the player list. We turn started. We did not do update active right here. Turn started. Turn started. Oh, we should connect these signals before we call that. Let's put these up here. Let's see if that works. There we go. Yeah. So we need to connect the signals before we emit the signals. Okay. So if we move, it's the end of the turn. Okay. So that worked. The player worked, but we didn't move to the next turn on the orc. We got the orc's turn is over, but we did not move on. Oh, you know why? Refactor, brave soul doing this live. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so we've got the okay, so the orc is not moving forward. Oh, because the orc, we are not subtracting the AP properly, I don't believe. Let's go look at our enemy decisions. Let's check first the move. So when we do the move, execute, we're moving. Start move, move finish. Okay, where is our decision? Decision. What do we call it? Logic step? No. What do we call that? Decision engine. There we go. Just while it. Hey, good to have you here. Let's see here. Okay. So here we're setting our action points here. Okay, so this, we need to change this over so that we use the action points system in the turn manager instead of the action points in here. Okay, so let's see here. So this action points, we can get rid of this because what we want to use is we need the turn manager. We have a turn completed, action points. We need to do, we have a game manager. What did we put in the game manager? I think in game manager, let's see here. We don't have a reference to anything in here. We just have the game manager running with the gold. Okay. So what we need is we need a reference for the action points in our decision engine. So right here, we have our action points. We have players. The decision engine is going to be, I think it's a sub component on our orc. Let's see here. Orc. Decision engine. Yeah. Okay. So if we just do a get parent, that's going to give us our monster that we can work with. Okay. So let's go back here towards decision engine. We can do a, we're just going to, oh, we already have it. We have monster right here. Monster. Okay. And then on ready, do we have a ready? We don't have a ready. Run logic. Monster equals get parent. Okay. So right here we have monster. Okay. So we don't need this action point. We can get rid of that entirely. Okay. Let's see here. So we have, where did I just put our action points? Right here. So when we run the logic, this, we need to use our, take it or leave it, but perhaps you might want to change those attacker dice print messages to use something like print rich. Oh, instead of print error. Yeah, that's I could probably be doing that. Let's see, Wallet, what are you working on where are you working on your game right now? I'm doing a refactor. Trying to clean up a lot of the spaghetti code that I was accidentally introducing by kicking too many cans down the road. Let's see here. Change those attacker dice print messages. Instead of print error. It's probably a good idea, but let me fix this first, and then we'll go back and try that out, because I'm curious to see what it looks like. It's probably going to be a better thing than using this error message. Okay, so let's see here. So we got the monster, monster dot, and then do we have a turn manager? Actor, we didn't call. How did we do that? How did we do that with the, because in the actor, I don't think we actually put in a reference to the turn manager. Actor, target, no, movement. We have the max action points there. Just so you don't have errors confusing you. Oh, I don't think I need errors to confuse me. Okay. We don't have a reference to the turn manager at all in here. How are we going to do this then? Because we need a reference to the monster's turn node. I mean, when we add in actor, when we add in the turn node, where do we add it in here? We don't, do we? We don't add it to the. Yeah, we don't add it to here because we add it in when we register. Oh, where's our turn manager? Turn manager. When we register the add the actor, then we add the turn node to the actor. And it's a separate thing. It's in the actor listing. So if we do the actor listing in the turn manager, okay, so this is why I wanted to do the AP actually on the character so I could use this for the monster. Okay, so we do have a AP, whoops, that's ability, actor. So we do have the action, we have max action points. It might be easier if we actually take the action points out of the turn node and put them on the character itself. So let's do that. Let's do our action points, and we're just going to leave it as 0 by default. Okay. And then in our turn node, let's see here. We do have the action points here. So if we just remove those from here, because we're not doing anything with them here. And then if we go back into our turn manager and we go into our action set actor action points, instead we can just do actor dot action points equals the value. So we don't need this. Okay. And then here, when we have the node, we don't need the node. We can do a check, and then we can just do the actor action points equals this. Instead of the node, we can just do actor action points minus equals value. Okay, so that sets that. And then here, get action points. We don't need that either. We can just do actor action points. Why is that? Unexpected indent. So what unexpected indent? Okay, I don't know why that was doing that, but okay. Okay, so we got that. We got, do we have any other reference to action points in here? We got actor, get action points. Okay, we can just replace, we don't need that function anymore. We can just call actor action points. Yeah. So then we got all that. Okay, that should be fine there. Let's go back into our actor. We can get rid of this function. That's fine. We don't need that anymore. Double check we didn't break something else here. I don't see any red things here saying we messed something up. Game board. Okay, no reds there. Okay, so let's go back over to our decision engine. Okay, so monster.action points equals, I'm going to set this to monster.max, max action points. P. Oops. Okay, I think that's what we called that. It was actor max action points. There we go. Yep. Okay, so we'll make that equal to that for I, and monster dot action points. Okay, we'll do that. And then okay, so we run through the logic. Oh, do we do feels good just watching you simplify, yeah. So right now we're looping through based on the number of action points. Oh, I want to use a while loop, but while loops are just so dangerous. I don't want to use a while loop. Oh, oh. Why don't we just do turn completed emit? Let's do a we can just set the action points here. Monster dot action points equals 0. There. We'll do it that way. And I like the while loop because then we can just go through until they're all gone. But then if somehow we mess up, we can get into a loop that's going to crash the game, and we don't want that. So this will just circle through, and then we'll just make sure everything's set to 0. We do a turn completed emit, which this is our decision engine. So when we do, is it turn manager? Where did we call the decision engine? Actor, I think it was in Monster. Monster. Okay. Decision engines here. Okay, here we do it. We wait for the turn completed. Okay. And then we can do that on turn completed. We emit turn completed. Okay. I do want to come back and refactor this because I feel like I really want to make sure the monster is using the same functionality that the player is. But let's just make sure. Let's see if it works. Oh, God. Nervous trying to get this working. Okay, so moved, ended the turn, Put him down here. Come on, let's get some monsters in here so we can try this out. We're going to get any monsters? Come on, we can do it. Oh, come on. Usually I get them on the second tile. When I don't want them, I get them right off. There we go. Okay, we got some monsters. Okay, let's just see here. End our turn. Okay, move. He attacks. Okay. So apparently my logic of what was happening is not actually happening. Okay, so the character by turn is over. Okay. So let's go back over here. Let's see where we did. So we go into the monster. Turn manager. Let's look at the monster first. Now, where did we call turn is? Oh, you know what? It's probably in the combat manager. Turn is over. Okay, that wasn't there. Game board? Nope. Where did we call turn is over? Okay, so we called it here. Okay, so we set this. We do the turn completed emit. Okay. And then that goes back to our monster class. The monster class, we connect on turn completed. Turn completed emit. Oh, wait, did we change this on action complete? Okay, so instead of that, let's call action complete, because when action complete, okay, and then when we do that, that should then, oh, where did we do this before? We changed out a bunch of stuff here. Action complete, turn manager, turn manager. What are we looking for each turn? We are looking for, so we need to signal to the turn manager that our action is completed. Missing something real simple. So again, we're signaling here, turn completed. Okay, we run through the logic. He does everything. That works as expected. The game ends. We signal turn completed, which goes back to the monster script. The monster script then says on turn completed, I put action complete here, omit self. And then is it in the game board? Do we have an action complete that we're listening for? Oops. I just, okay, good. Thought I just duplicated code by accident. Action complete. Turn manager. This is turn manager action completed, but we're not. We need to tie into the turn manager from our orc. Oh, what do we need to do? Turn manager. We need to tie into the turn manager. So this is the, okay, so how are we, because on the game board, we're doing it because the, oh, wait, is this, nope, that's target selected. Actually, that should be there. That should be there. Yep. Anyway. Actor attack, actor move, actor attack. What are we using for the monster attack? Monster logic. Let's see here. What do we got? Monster logic. Well, that doesn't matter because we're past that. We're resolving it. We're getting to the point where we need to tell the turn manager. We're still back to that same thing. The turn manager. Hmm. I also want to just put a script under this, but I mean, when we set up the actor, we could pass in the turn manager. I don't want to do that. Could make the turn manager a global, a singleton. Um, what else could we do? We need to get that signal back. I feel like I'm just missing something stupid. Let's go back in here. Let's just leave this. Turn completed. So what's connected to this? Monster.turn completed. There's got to be something here. Turn man, where we actually call the monster. Is that in the turn manager? Okay, so that's probably where I should be looking instead. Start turn. Turn started emit. No, don't need that. Don't need this. Show turn, set, use, start. No, we don't need any of that. Okay, so it's probably in the combat manager. That's probably where we're calling it. Nope, must be on the game board. Okay, game board. Update active. Here we go. Decision run logic. Okay, here we go. So then what we need to do here is we need to connect into this signal. Okay, so if it's what we need to do then is current actor dot turn completed, and then from there we're going to dot connect. We need to on turn. Where don't we have like a request turn ending or something like that? We have end turn. Yeah, that one. End turn. Okay, so let's go back up here. Let's pass it down. Actually, end turn took in the doesn't take in any value. Okay, so yeah, let's just do end turn. And where was I? Where was I typing? Seriously, where was I just typing? Here, we'll find it this way. Control Z, Control Y. There we go. End turn. Okay, so we'll send the end turn, but this doesn't expect any value. So let's go back into our monster, and we can just remove the node because we don't need to pass that anymore. Okay. Oop, that's not what I wanted there. Action complete on turn completed right here. This. There we go. Okay, let's try this. Okay, he's on the edge. Come on. Oh, come on. Let's find some monsters real fast. There we go. Okay. Boom, boom, boom. Attack. Ah, I was so close, I thought. Shoot. So we're doing this. We do the end turn. Let's just make sure this works. Request end turn. Okay, this may not be what we wanted to do. Let's look at request end turn. Turn manager. Request end turn. If actor action points is less than or equal to 0, request end turn. Oh, that's action completed. Request end turn. If current node and actor turn ending emit the actor. So then that goes into turn ending. Okay. And turn ending, I believe we connect to in game board. On turn ending, if the actor is in players, do all this. Oh. Outdent. All of this. Probably for an outdent. There we go. Okay. Let's see what we can do here. I don't know why I just did that. Okay. End turn. Okay. Attack. Roll. Boom. Resolved. There we go. Outdent. Oh my god. Yep. Okay. Cool. Let's just make sure some other stuff here. Let's see. Let's put fireball right there. Not enough AP. Why don't I have enough AP? Actor, wizard. Action points is 0. Okay, so turn manager, advanced turn, request turn, start turn. Set actor action points. Actor action points equals value. Oh, did we? No. Why did that not work right? Let me just double check right now. Wizard, we have action points. We have 2. So if I'm, that's not whoever. Who am I on? Priest. So if I move, this should take away an action point. Yep, action point taken away. Move again. 0 action points. Boom. Okay. Okay. When we move in our barbarian, we'll just attack. Oops. Attack. There we go. Okay, here we go. Turn manager, get action point, current actor. And okay, turn manager, get action points. What did we call that? Turn manager, yeah, get action points. Why did that say that was not valid? Oh, get action points. That would help. Okay. That's why we got to do all these checking after a refactor like this. And then attack. All right, we broke an attack last time. Yep. Expected. Take that away. Okay. Oops, wrong button. F8, F6. Nope. End turn. Boom. Yeah, so we've got that. End turn. There we go. Okay. Fireball. Oh, did we do this in the wrong? I know what we did. If we look at a wizard. Yeah. I know what we did. Game board. So when we did the targeting for the start ability targeting, get action points, and then we call the ability. Nope, that's not what I want. AoE targeting. Where is it here? Start. Didn't we do an AoE targeting? No, we did an AoE targeting here somewhere. Oh, this is all in the same thing. Okay, because we did this. Single target AoE. Here we go. Initiate. Targets. Get actors in range. Targets selected. Okay, let's go down to targets. AoE targets selected. Use action points. Not enough action points. Hey, let's snag Michael's little suggestion here. I just want to try this. So instead of this, let's do our, what we call it? What we put? Print rich. Okay. And then if we use color equals red, like that. Color equals, oh, hey, Indian red. That sounds fun. And we say not enough AP. And then we end /color. So we're using rich text instead. Okay. So let's see here. So we're doing this. We're saying use the current actor, use the ability point. Oh, wait. Oh, I bet you in our fireball execute, we're trying to subtract the um, action points as well. Yeah, using ability fireball, and then it's got all through, and then it says not enough AP. So let's go into our fireball to do fireball. Is valid target attack. AoE attack complete. Maybe it's in our combat manager where we're calling combat manager AoE attack complete. Combat attack AoE. Okay, combat manager attack AoE. Attack dice pool damage to targets. Targets. Are we doing any AP calculation? We're not doing. So how are we? How is it that we're subtracting the cost of using that before we actually execute it? Do we have any hints in our warnings? The await keyboard is unnecessary. So this, we're not waiting. Oh, wait a minute. We got AoE target selected. Use action points right here. Use action. Oh, wait. Use turn manager. Use action point. Greater than or equal to 0. Yep. Okay. So we should have 2 minus 2 is 0. Actor action points minus equals value. Return true. Okay. So that should be fine. Use action point. But we're getting obviously a not enough AP. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I need to run and use the head real quick. I'll be right back in like 1 minute. Okay, back. Let's see here. Okay. Maybe I could think better now that my teeth aren't floating. Oh, why is this triggering? So we're definitely targeting, so that's good. Oh, did we do? We selected target selected? No, where did we do? Ability target. We return target cell. What do we call? Hold on, up here where we where we connect in our setup action panel. We called start ability targeting, and we passed the ability. Okay, so here, let's see here. If term manager get action points is less than, say, there's not enough AP. So this is not the one we're triggering because it's lacking the exclamation mark. So that's fine. Print. Okay. So we're start ability targeting. If ability type is self, nope. Single target, nope. AoE, here we go. So we start the targeting overlay. We set the radius, we add it. We await the targeted cell. Target, print, I should have waited. Do we get that? I should have waited. Here we go. Okay, so we're definitely getting through that. We print the target, which is right here. Oops. Well, there's our target. We set up all the targets in the array, which are those orcs. If it targets allies, get all actors in range of players, monsters. Yep. Okay, and then we call AoE target selected. Okay, so this. Okay, AoE target selected. Okay, so we come down to AoE target selected. And then right here, we call the if term manager use action point, print error, not enough AP. That's the one we're tripping up on. So let's add in. Let's take where we just used that. I just put in Michael's thing in the end. Here we go. Right here. Boom. So right in front of this, let's put in. No, let's put in green. Green. And then instead, we're going to put in and then let's see here. We want to put in the current action points. So if we use current actor dot action points, there we go. So then this should show us just before we execute this how many action points we have. Okay, so let's see here. Run. Okay. Now I'm getting to the point where it's starting to bug me that I don't have sound. It's like I want to add in sound. I put it way too late in the thing. Okay, fireball. Boom. Oh, I did the... Oh, right, because I needed to be string str. Oh, my bad. My bad. Okay, so here we have 2 action points. Now if I do it, well, you already ended my turn. Let's just end our turn again. Oops. I want to double check because right now, Wizard, he's got 0. Everybody else should have 0. No, they got 2 because I didn't move them. Wizard has 2. Okay, so his turn started. He's got 2 action points. We click Fireball. Still has 2 action points. Spent all of his action points and did not... We obviously have enough. What am I doing wrong? Oh my god, I'm gonna feel like such a such a idiot. Let's go back over here. Where we just put this? Here we go. Let's take that right here. Let's pull this out. And let's go back over to Turn Manager. Let's print this out first and then after. Okay, and then we're going to use this. Copy. Oop. Oh, actually, I can just delete that. There we go. And let's just make this blue so then we can clearly see. Blue. There we go. Save. Okay. I think we're only running into the problem with him because yeah. What am I going to try to say? Because we set the AP value to 2. So, because again, right now, if I go wizard, why do I have? Oh, because I just hit move. Wait a minute. Move. Okay, move is spending the action points too soon. Okay, so I think this might be our initial problem here. We're using this before like the move is actually happening. So we start the move. Well, before we do the start move, we need to do end turn actor move. Here we go. Oh, we never updated this. We need to update this. Use action point, current actor activate. Okay, so when we activate the actor, that's under player. Player. Okay, so player, we activate here. Boom. Okay, so then this gets starts drawing the line. Okay. And then on our physics process, is it a physics process? Where would we put it? Right here, input. Okay. So we do this. Where do we start the move? Do we have a signal? No, no signal. Let's see here. So if events pressed, we call the start move function. Okay, so that's where we should be subtracting the points. So let's go back here to start move. I think that's under actor. Start move. Yeah. This is where we should be subtracting the points, is in this. Okay. That is where we should be doing that. Okay, so let me think here. We activate it. And then we await him to turn. What is it? The signal. Don't we have a signal to say when the move is done? That we did. Back to player. Oh no, actor. Move. We play the animation. Start move. Physics process. On movement finished. On movement finished. Moving is false. Set physics process to false. Okay, that I'm going down the wrong rabbit hole here. We need to fix the other issue. So let's just see here. Let's we got who's this? Healing. Boom. Okay, invalid access to AP cost. Okay, so where was this? Turn manager, use action point, current actor, ability. Because we didn't pass in the ability cost. Oh, I was really happy that the refactor was going great. Battle cry. Not enough AP. Fire torrent. No. Okay. Let's see. Shuriken. What? Okay, so I haven't done anything with the rogue yet, and he's already at action point 1. So we definitely have some funkiness here going on. Because this is going to be oh, I think we had that turn thing. So if I do this, doom. What did I do? Ability target selected. Selected as target. Um. But if I do it this way, does that break something else? I don't. Okay, so it's 2. It spent 1. Okay, so it still gave us not enough AP, even though it was legit. Shurikens. No targets. Oh, that won't let me do it anyway. Okay. Um. Okay. Fireball. No targets. So you still get 2. Fire torrent. Boom, boom, boom. We can't move because we're all out of 0. Okay. So. Oh, God. What did we do? What did we do? Hmm. Where are we right now? We are at 208. Okay. Um. Oh, true. I was really hoping to get the BFS today. Yeah. There's another stream I want to watch at 1 for the game jam I did this weekend for Tri Jam. So I want to watch that at 1 o'clock. Let's see. What are we doing wrong? What are we doing wrong? Let's go back to our wizard. Let's look at our. What happens if we do ability? We go to the fireball spell. Set the AP cost back to 1. It doesn't target allies. That's fine. We're going to turn this off on targets allies. Okay. So let's save that. Let's go over here. Yeah, see here, we did the I gotta get that targeting thing in place so we don't have these double things. Okay, here we go. Perfect. Fireball right there. Why is Fireball kicking back with not enough AP? Even though we had two, we spent one, but we're still kicking back with not enough AP. Now I'm drawing a blank on where we use that. Use AP. Use action point. Here we go. Return true. So it did this. So it should be returning true. Okay. So let's go back to our game board. Use action point. This is true. Oh. Oh. I hope you all spot that. I hope there's someone here was looking at the screen going, you're saying if it's true, print not enough AP. If not, now we can put this back to. Oh my God. Wow. Okay. That's right. We didn't fix that. We'll fix that after. Okay. We got that. We got that. We got this. Okay. We're going to use a fireball. And because it doesn't target allies, we can put it right here. Why? Why? Okay, so there's another place that this is being called. Oh my. Oh my. My own stupid logic backfiring on me. I just wow. I just feel kind of dumb now. Okay, come on. Let's find some orcs. I want to make sure this is all working. Oops. Keep clicking N and turn instead of move. Give me some orcs. Nope. Give me some orcs. Give me some orcs. Okay, move. I was up grabbing food, but now I see you replace one print with rich text, but the not enough AP. Yep. I found that was actually the key. That's because I fixed one and not the other one with the print error, which led me to the actual problem. Let's just. I had my if statements backwards. Oh God. Okay, seriously. I weighted that tile so heavily so that it would come up all the time, and now it's not coming up at all. There we go. Come on, survive so I can throw a fireball. Orc's turn is over. Okay, so whatever. We'll just move him over to here. Well, actually, let's use his shuriken power. Well, it subtracted it. It didn't execute it, though. We just double moved turns again. Well, fireball works. But I think we caused some other problems. But uh, uh, buh, 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 buh. So fireball works. Okay, so that's AoE targets selected. Man, I just can't. This is why I'm gonna do this right now because this is in the style guide for Godot. So this equals false. There we go. You know, it says do it this way so that you don't get yourself all messed up. And it's easy to read. So let's do it up here as well. So then we can go, yep, look, here we go. This is comparing a value. Use action. Okay. If use action point, okay, that's fine there. Use action point, current actor, activate. Okay, let's change this. Okay. I just, yeah. I'm going to change this one. I'm going to change that because I want to use this same logic on the move. There we go. Oh my God. All of that just to realize I'd swapped my if statements around. Oh, the logic was right. Implementation was wrong. Okay. Let's just double check something. You know what? Let's, instead of having to make sure we have to run through everything, let's go back up here. Where are we? Game board, entrance 2. Let's give ourselves some orcs right at the beginning. So we use the ability Battle Cry, which costs 1 point. That costs another point. There we go. Oh, wow. Look at that. Look at this. Wizard, hopefully you get to go soon. Oh. We have an await problem. We reintroduced that old bug we had. Where it's skipping ahead turns. It's not waiting properly. Okay. I think that was one of those outdents that I did that I should not have done. Actually, there may be a clue in our right here. Nope, that's not the one. That's not the one. Probably under. Do we have an attack? What do we have here in game board? Actor attack. Here we go. Nope. Target selected. There's one of these right here. I think that's... Is it that one? That was one of them I moved out. No, I think that one needs to be right there. That one, that seems right. There was another one of these. Let's get rid of this. Do I need this still? Target selected. I don't think I need that. Leave that alone for right now. So we select the targets. We go to target selected. Okay. We go to target selected. Actor target selected as target. We disconnect the signal. We await the combat manager attack. Oh, you know what? We may be missing combat manager attack. Function bool. Return true. We await. We await. Return false. Why are we not pausing now? Why do we have that? This right here. Step.execute. So we call execute step. Are we awaiting that? Yes. We're awaiting execute step. Okay. And then we go execute step and our logic. Step.execute. Okay, so let's go look at monster logic. Monster logic. Move. Here's our execute. It's a bool. We go through all this. We await the movement finished. Monster deactivate. Okay, that's fine. I think it's only the attack. So where's melee? Melee. Execute bool. We await. Oh, Jesus Christ, look at this. Oh. I think this is where our problem is. What were we doing before? Monster. So we look here. We go monster. It goes get parent. So that's the actor. And then goes from there. It goes to the game board. Dot target selected. Target. So we await target selected. Why are we awaiting target selected? Oh, are we no longer calling the target selected signal? Game board. Target selected. We don't, wait, did we remove? We don't have a target selected here. We're calling the function target selected on the game board. Okay, that's my bad. Target selected. So we're awaiting this. Oh, this is a void. Okay, so we can't await a void. So this, where else are we calling this? We can't do that there. So if we go back to our orc, do we have our monster? Monster, we have a turn completed. No, we don't want turn completed. Um, actor. Do we have action complete? Here we go. So if we go back into yeah, that's fine. I want to leave that alone. So if we await monster dot wait a minute, what are we doing here? We're melee attacking for player and players. We call target selected. This is how we attack. So then instead of awaiting that, we can do await underscore monster dot action complete. Because in target selected, game board, target selected, combat manager attack, turn manager, action completed, current actor. In actor, are we calling this action completed anywhere? We are not. I don't think this is a valid signal. I don't think we're using that. I think we're using the turn manager. Hmm. We're gonna have to redo. We're gonna have to refactor the monster stuff too, so it properly uses the action complete. Uh, yeah, because this is that's gonna break things. Yeah, that's what I thought. Because it's only doing the one time, and then it's waiting for this to come up, but it's not happening. Because if I just take this out, it just moves up and attacks, and it just cycles through everything. And then it's going to trigger the stuff that we don't want to trigger. Okay. I think. Oh, it's quarter of. Okay. What I think I'm going to do, I'm going to save this here. We're going to pick this back up tomorrow. So tomorrow, where I'm going to fix this, we need to, shouldn't be too much because the monster is not that bad. Is not that complicated. So we just basically need to refactor the monster to actually use the AP points properly. So then when we go through the decision engine, we spend the AP, we check, then it moves on to the next thing. That should all work. So we just have to refactor that. I'll have to write down my notes about how I want to refactor him. So we'll do that tomorrow. And then I'm going to just switch over here. Actually, let's stop this timer before I forget. 2.5 hours. Ugh. So let's take out the BFS because we didn't do that. Stop. So we are at 41.5 or 41.4, 41.5, we'll call it hours. Okay. Yeah, so we didn't quite get to where I wanted to be because I really wanted the BFS to be in today, but I was expecting that's where I got hung up, not on the refactoring of the turn manager. So tomorrow I'm going to put this down here. We're going to do monster. Put right here. Monster refactor. Okay. So then we're just going to refactor it. It should hopefully As long as I look at this and study it and write it down, refactor the monster should take about 15-ish minutes. Once we have that done, we'll just do another quick check, make sure everything's working, and then we're going to work our breadth first searching algorithm for tomorrow. Like I said, I've got a, let's see here if I have it anywhere. Game board, nope. Here somewhere. Yeah. So I've got a printout from someone else that did this about some code on how they did it. I think some of it is going to work. I hope most of it's going to work. I'm wondering though, because if I do this, this is going to require us to redo. No, it's only going to require us to redo the monster move logic. The problem we're having right now is with the monster combat logic. So, yeah. So what we're going to do is we'll get that monster refactored to use the AP. That should clear up everything. Once that's done, we'll go into the breadth first searching, so then the monsters don't stack on top of each other. And then we can get into the targeting state machine. Yeah. Hopefully we don't get hung up too much on breadth first searching. I'm going to go back to my test bed in my, what the heck was I calling it? Project Neon Chapel was my test one. I'm going to try that in that one to see if the breadth first searching works correctly. And then note down how I did it. So then I can just reuse the code, put it in stream tomorrow. And then we'll work on the targeting system and hopefully the buff system. The buff system is going to be pretty fast, I think, to put in. There's a little bit to it because we have to tick down and count down the ticks, but it's not complicated. That one we can get in hopefully pretty easy, pretty straightforward, and pretty fast. It's the BFS is going to be the big thing for tomorrow. That is it is definitely putting us behind on this mile marker. If we're at 41 and a half already, we were supposed to be done by 40, and we had a 2-hour buffer coming into this. So that's not fun, but we will be in there. I'm going to also add in buff system into this list because it is part of it for the hero abilities. But I think that's where we're going to be for today. I need to get some lunch. There's a Try Jam Game Jam is starting in about 10 minutes over on Twitch. I want to jump on that because I did have a game entry this week, so I want to see how well I did. But thanks for everybody for joining me. Be on the lookout. I'll post it sometime soon, but tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. we'll hopefully wrap all this up, and then we'll be able to build out the last of the abilities and get our monsters working, because the only monster ability we're going to have left is going to be range combat, I believe. And then that's going to close out milestone 4. And then we're going to just work on milestone 5 is completing the loop. That's going to be our items, our win-loss conditions, and town. So, am I going to be able to hit the feature lock at hour 60? Not looking good at this point, but hopefully we can make up some time. So without further ado, have a good day, and I will see you guys tomorrow morning. Bye.